Hi everybody, welcome to the Bandits Show, episode 4. I'm Ben Gallagher. This week I'm joined by the newest member of the Bandits, it's Jack Hutchinson.
Right.
And Luke is back for his second episode on a very important topic. It's uniforms in the NFL. And we're going to start with all the teams that have got new uniforms this season. The first photo we've got to look at is the Chargers' new uniforms. All I can say is I absolutely love these uniforms.
Oh, I don't like them. Not a fan.
I think they dramatically won this competition.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. They didn't. They probably had the best. I think they had the best uniforms in the league anyway, and they've sort of just added a few things to different ones.
Yeah.
And overall, I think they had the best jersey beforehand, whereas now they've got all round best uniforms.
That new dark cape is.
I like the
that's probably my favourite. The dark one with the sort of outline of the bolts.
Because and they've changed. The home kit is now going to be powder blue, so I think that was a smart decision because them dark blue unis that they used for quite a while were a bit.
Yeah, they were a bit outdated.
Yeah.
The powder blue was the best one, and obviously they've added the number to the helmet as well, which I kind of like. I wasn't sure about it at first. I was a bit sort of torn, but I think the more I look at it, the more I like it. And then the sort of navy blue jersey, I think, was the colour rush.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And they've just sort of changed it up a little bit and added it.
I think yellow pants, so they're going back to the 80s.
Yeah, a bit retro, isn't it?
I think I prefer that over the white. It looks better. Colour clash.
Well, it's sort of in a city where they've got to get fans because they've not got any fans. I suppose having the best looking uniforms in the NFL is a good way to start getting some.
Yeah, definitely. If you're unsure which to choose and choosing just going off a jersey, it'd be nice.
That's me with Eagles. That was one of the reasons I supported Eagles. I liked the colour. That was it.
It's a lot of what people see, the first time. I know. I picked the Dolphins just because I used to beat everyone because I was good at Madden, not because the Dolphins were good.
Oh.
I don't think I've seen one good Dolphins team in my time, and it's not happening again for a few years. Let's move on because we've got the Falcons, who I think had one of the most widely rejected uniform drops.
Yeah, well, it came out a few days before, didn't it? All these sort of models stood in a flipping waiting room. Looked shit then, and then now it doesn't even look any better in my opinion.
I don't like it. Not at all.
The only one I do like is the one they've kept, which was the black sort of retro one with the different Falcon emblem.
The all black and the all white are all right. It's the gradient fade on the red jersey.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even like the ATL as well. That really is.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
And the numbers are the sort of 3D. It's something you draw when you were a kid.
Honest. A bit overdone.
I feel like they've tried to...
I think a lot of this comes back to sort of the same issue that people have with Nike being the kit makers.
Yeah.
They don't get that creative that often.
Same stuff over and over again.
And if they do get creative, it doesn't work that well.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of Nike, they've probably been the best provider of football jerseys in my lifetime. As long as that, talking about soccer and football, they've always seemed to have the best ones there. And as long as I didn't I've got no jerseys from the sort of Reebok era.
I like the Reebok. I prefer that, I think.
But yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, I didn't even like the Jets one they brought out a year or two ago.
Oh, the Gotham Green one.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I think I'm maybe just not a fan of the name, because like the ATL irritates me on the Falcons. The New York on the Jets one irritates me, and like the Cleveland across the top on their old jersey used to like that either.
I think there's not much, because I think the best way to sort of look at old jerseys, and because everything used to be like super colourful, is the guys. I know that Luke follows them on Instagram. The people, the National Vintage League, they're called.
Oh yeah.
And they get like loads of retro jackets and kits from the 80s and stuff, and it all looks phenomenal compared to what it's about today.
They put out some Dan Marino trousers the other day, those sort of tiger stripe trousers.
Tiger stripe pants.
Can you imagine you rocking up to training once?
I wanted them, man, but they sold out like sold out in like a day the first time we had them. I'll definitely come. I'll come and if I get injured, I'll stand on the sideline wearing them.
Yeah, definitely need a pair of that.
I don't think I'll look as cool as Dan Marino did with the mullet, but we'll give it a shot. Let's go the Bucks, and I think the only difference is with the Bucks, they've got rid of the chrome face cage for a black face cage.
Yeah, that looks a lot better.
The numbers look cleaner. There's less sort of orange incorporated, and I think that pewter jersey, the greyish brown one, that's really nice at the end as well.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean the Bucks. All they had to do was get rid of them stupid numbers, and they were always going to be better jerseys. Yeah, I cannot stand those like digital clock type numbers.
Yeah,
I do like them, to be fair. The Bucks jerseys, I think they took like a simplistic look where they've just sort of like took everything off, put numbers on, put Buccaneers on, nice sort of size to it. I don't really like the sort of brown one. I don't know. I'm a little bit torn on it, the browny grey type one. Maybe it'll look better when you can actually see it on the telly rather than just a picture.
Well, I think this greyish brown one, this one, that's Tom Brady's top selling jersey.
Oh, really? Okay.
And Gronkowski's top selling jersey.
So I assume the red is the home jersey, white is away, and then the sort of browny one is the alternate type one.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'd assume that, but you know, a lot of.
I think it's a good colour because it is a colour they've sort of used and had sort of in the past. So I don't know, like I said, maybe it'll look better in person.
I mean, wasn't that they did have a third kit where it was mostly pewter, and then they had the red shoulders. Was it last time?
Oh yeah, I know which one you mean.
So it isn't much of a change, but again, they've just sort of cleaned everything up, made it look a bit nicer than where it was.
And got rid of those stupid numbers.
Symbolises a good sort of new era starting in Tampa.
Yeah, it's all looking up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah. So perfect fitting to go to his old team, which have just used the Colour Rush kit.
Yeah.
And made it the home and away in alternating colours.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
No, I don't hate it at all.
I don't love it. I don't think it's great.
Yeah, it's sort of one of them no comment sort of uniforms where you're a bit
like whatever. The white one's quite nice. I think I do quite like the white one. But the blue, I don't know, it's just a lot of navy blue.
Yeah, I used to like the there was sort of a theory that they were going to do like blue throwbacks, sort of like a sapphire blue with the big Patriots on the shoulders.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a campaign to bring them back, which I would have liked to see.
Well, I think the Patriots and the Rams, I know we've not got to them yet, but they've only brought out 2 jerseys, and apparently it's because next year they can change the helmet.
Yeah,
So
they're
this
having,
year apparently
they might be
you
having
can.
Wow.
And the Rams, I think, have announced that next year they're bringing out another, and the year after they'll be bringing out another. So possibly the Patriots have got some more lined up.
yeah. Well, like when you used to be able to use more than one helmet, we've seen the Patriots use their red throwback with the white helmet.
Yeah,
Was-
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But you can also go on to the Buccaneers with that because there was talks about them bringing back the old creamsicle.
Oh, is that like the bright orange?
Yeah,
type?
the orangey,
Yeah.
brownish one. There was talks of
Yeah,
them
yeah.
bringing that back, but they didn't want to because they'd have to use a white helmet. They want to use the white helmet with it.
All right. Yeah. Well, I suppose again when the helmet rule changes.
Yeah,
I mean, the helmet rule's pretty stupid there. The only thing I did wonder, because I think the Charge, I know we're going back a bit, the Chargers helmet, I'm sure their helmet on the dark blue ones, I'm sure their helmet's different, but
you can
the
use
style's not
stickers,
different,
can't
is it?
you?
So you can use the same style, just different colours, but you can't change the style of the helmet.
Yeah, so if the Patriots wanted to use the secondary logo, they'd have to use the silver helmet, but they can change the stickers on the side.
All right, okay.
Because the Dolphins do it for the throwbacks. They take the new logo off and put stripes down the middle and the old logo on the side,
yeah,
but it's still the same white helmet. And then we've got the Browns with another new one. Is this like the fifth time the Browns have changed uniform in the past 5 years?
Yeah, they do keep swapping and changing.
Yeah.
I mean, for a team called the Browns and a team that were brown, orange, and white, I do think they're quite nice. I do quite like them.
I like them.
Again, as soon as they get rid of Cleveland, like that did it for me. I thought it was hideous, but they're quite simple. They've got obviously a little bit of detail on the arms, but overall they're quite plain, which I like.
Yeah, not much to be said. They've removed the orange jersey, which, to be fair, I don't think they've worn for a couple of years now.
No, I don't blame
And
them.
then
They were using the darker one last year, the sort of all brown one. I think they've been wearing that most.
That was because that was the colour rush at first, and they said that they were wearing that as the home kit for last year or the year before or whatever.
Yeah,
Good memories of
they're a little bit like the Patriots in a way. They're a bit like they're all right. They've sort of tidied it up. They've got rid of some terrible features and
simple, clean.
Yeah.
Looking to make a playoff run.
Oh, hopefully.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I had them in the playoffs last week.
Really?
Yeah. They'll squeak in.
There is an extra place.
He's got the right coach, the right receivers now. All right defense.
Only time will tell if Baker's the man.
I don't think. To quick sidebar this, I don't think Baker's MVP caliber or top 10 caliber QB.
But
if you can, he's one of them QBs that sort of, if you get him an alright O-line, good wide receivers, and a serviceable defense, he'll take you to the playoffs.
Yeah, he's not gonna hit the team as long as you put weapons around him.
Yeah, it can work. But if we have any side notes, any side discussions or arguments, I should say, we'll leave them at the end. Let's look at the Colts because
I don't see much change, if I'm honest.
you know what? The Colts look like they've took the Patriots uniforms and just made them blue and white.
Yeah, they're a little bit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we quite like them again. They're just pretty like plain and simple. They're just tiny up. There's nothing too outrageous on it.
Yeah, it's quite a solid uniform.
They've made they've added sort of the horseshoe shape to the numbers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see them. Change the logo, the writing on the logo as well. That's about it.
Trying to make people forget about the Andrew Luck days.
Yeah, the Philip Rivers days there.
Right. Let's do it because the next ones are the Rams, and I'm going to let you two go for it first because I don't like them. So
I'm a big fan. Nothing else to be said. Massive fan.
I'm not. There's a few things I'd change. Like, I'm not a big fan of the sort of the white into the yellow on the blue jerseys, you know, on the numbers.
Yeah.
There's a few sort of little things that I'd tweak, but I like the bone colour for the away jersey, and I like that they've gone with that navy sort of. What do they keep calling it? I forget. They've got like a name that really doesn't represent a colour, but they keep saying it as the blue. Again, they've sort of just updated it, made it a little bit more modern. And I mean, I like the sort of the little rectangle Los Angeles Rams on the shoulder. I think it's something different.
Oh yeah, I can see that. And then the numbers on the jersey, but it's the yellow fades into white, which is quite nice.
So, good points. I like the blue with yellow pants because it's almost the same as your throwback from that you wore in the Super Bowl. I
mean, that was our best jersey.
Yeah, I think that was a really nice kit.
Yeah,
I like that.
I absolutely despise the white into the yellow and the cut-offs in the horns. I mean, I get it.
I don't mind that. I don't mind the horns like for so long. I think it was time for a little adjustment.
There's clearly they've given some kid Microsoft Paint and said, "Whack at it, lad."
Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're a top jersey in the league, but as a Rams fan, I'm quite happy, and I'll definitely be purchasing one.
Right. Because my biggest grievance is this bone kit.
Oh, I love it.
It looks like it needs washing.
Yeah, but it's just like a new colour.
It's dirty. Great. Just go white. It's
white's been done.
But it's classic. It works.
Yeah, I know, but the Rams, I don't know. We've never really. We have had the white kit for the last few years, but that was obviously our away jersey. I don't know. They obviously wanted to try something new, and like I said, I do think there's a yellow jersey of some sort and slight adjustments coming in the next couple of years.
I'll also mention the print on numbers on both jerseys. I think it shows up more on the bone one. Look very cheap.
Yeah, like the glossy type of look.
They look, and I know I'm guessing it's sort of the look that they're going for, but they do look extremely plastic.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Wouldn't look well stitched as well with the stitching outline. It wouldn't work. It's not
and this little patch on the shoulder of the bone one.
I like it.
I don't know. I don't mind it, but the bit that irritates me is there's a yellow stitching line on it.
I like it.
There's a line of yellow stitches.
Yeah, they've done it on the other one, haven't they?
It looks like an
they've done a white one on the other side.
It bugs me so much.
It's some weird hipster, like, fashion thing that they're going for.
I know. I've heard they've sort of done it to be more modern and sort of appeal to more. I suppose because you're in LA, you appeal to the youth of LA. If you can sort of get that age.
Well, again, the Rams have not got
25. You're fine.
The Rams have not got a massive fan base. Obviously more than the Chargers, but it's neither team has really been massively successful so far. I don't mean obviously on the field. I mean with the fan base themselves. Like you said, trying to get into the youth of LA because LA didn't have a franchise for so long.
Yeah.
A lot of the fans maybe Niners and Oakland fans instead.
It's sort of in a city where it's all more recently. It's all been basketball. You know, they've got LeBron James, and they've got Kawhi Leonard on opposite teams, and they're really popular. The Lakers and the Clippers are on the up. Then you've got baseball and the LA Dodgers, who have been in the World Series recently. And LA is a city that will forget about people quickly if you stop.
Oh yeah,
changing and
being successful, yeah.
But okay, so that covers new uniforms, and one thing that we have prepared for this one is each person has got a top 5 and a bottom 5 worst uniforms in the NFL. So I'm going to jump over to that now, and hopefully, can you see it?
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Well, we can't see the one on the right.
On the right. Okay.
Yeah, he's covered.
Let's get rid of that. Can you still see it?
I can see the.
Yeah. I've just moved it to the bottom. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Right. So Jack's is up first, and I'll let Jack talk you through it. It's from left to right is your favourite to least favourite, and these are your top 5.
Okay. So my favourite had to be the Kelly Green uniform, just for players like Randall Cunningham, Reggie White. Reggie White was one of the reasons to start supporting Eagles, if I'm honest. And I think it's that old look, like the unusual colour. You don't see any other teams with the Kelly Green, which I'm a big fan of. The wings on the helmet, like quite smooth instead of that sharp look we go for nowadays. I like it.
Yeah. I've got to say, I'd prefer your darker green to the bright green, just because I think if you think of the dark green and you think of your Carson Wentz and Michael Vick and sort of the Miracle at the Meadowlands, and it's like good memories and whereas this team,
quite like
the Kelly Green era,
Kelly Green one.
It's a nice kit, but this.
I know Chris always bangs on about it as well. Chris was really sort of like hitting it hard to get that as the Bandits away jersey colour.
Oh, that was amazing.
He got shot down really.
Also, was Chris the other Eagles fan I haven't met yet?
Yeah, Mr. MVP himself.
Oh, okay.
All right, come on, let's keep going.
The black jersey. It's the reason I picked black jersey is because I always picture Brian Dawkins in it, Weapon X, and he was a monster. He was ruthless.
It is a nice jersey, to be fair. I do like it.
It's like simple. It's so simple, but it works. And even on the pants, where you see it's black, it has the white and green, the original green on it. Well, the sporting green, I should say.
Yeah.
I think it works perfectly.
Yeah, I can't argue with them. They are a nice jersey.
No,
I think we can all tell Jack's an Eagles fan.
Hey, next it'd have to be
this bottom 5 is going to just be full of NFC East other teams.
I've got a few.
Right.
Well, I've got one. Next had to be the Chiefs, and a bit because of Liverpool. I'm going to be honest, but I think I like the red with the yellow works, and it's the badge, the AFC symbol on it. I'm a big fan of that. Big fan.
Yeah, I don't mind the Chiefs jersey. I'm not a big fan of it. It's a little bit like we were saying about the Patriots. It's just take it or leave it. I hate the yellow gloves that Travis Kelce wears.
I'm not a fan. No.
They irritate the life out of me. I know it shouldn't irritate me what a tight end in the NFL is wearing on his hands, but it gets me.
Oh, nothing. I don't think there's anything about it that bothers me. I think it's quite clean. I prefer it with red pants rather than.
Yeah, I think that looks nice.
White, but.
Then next, I had to have the Rams white one, and I think it's the gold that gets me the most.
I'm surprised this made anyone's top 5.
No, honestly, it's the gold with the white. It's so unexpected, but it works nicely. And the helmet, it's almost a black, but it's not. I think it's just the gold that jumps out at me the most. Was the reason I picked it.
It's like we sort of mixed two kits together there, because it was when we moved to LA, we changed up the helmet and went to the sort of navy and white, but then we didn't obviously redo our jerseys and ended up with like them white ones, which were originally our away kit in St. Louis, which became our home kit in LA. I don't dislike them. The only thing that irritated me was that they didn't really match the helmet. And then there was that game we had in Dallas where we had the all navy and gold ones with that helmet, and they just didn't look right at all.
Yeah.
But no, it is a nice jersey, to be fair. I've got a few.
Yeah, it's quite nice. I don't like the gold because when you think of, I mean, I suppose if you're older than me, then people who remember the St. Louis Rams will remember, like the greatest show on turf and championships and sort of good play. But when I first got into the NFL, it was all 4 and 12 seasons and
2-14, Jeff Fisher,
yeah.
I was a bit the same really, but weirdly I was a Rams fan, so I had to like it.
Yeah.
And your last one in the top 5 is, I'd probably say my favourite pick for your top 5.
Really? It's the Raiders. It's just a black jersey. I don't know what it is. It's just simple. That's what I like about it. It's nothing big or flashy. It's just there.
Yeah, you can't argue with black and silver of the Raiders.
Yeah. And can't wait to watch Henry Ruggs playing it. I like him. He is good. It's fast. I'll give him that.
Clean, simple.
Yeah. It's just nothing to be bothered about. It's just there. Yeah.
Let's move on. Who have we got next? It's Luke's top 5. There you go, Luke. Talk us through it.
So number 1, I've got the powder blue Chargers from the last few years. Obviously, they've slightly adjusted these now, but still pretty similar. I think it's one of the best colours in the NFL for a jersey. Then I've got the Rams. Again, they've sort of just adjusted it up a little bit. I do think this jersey is a lot better than the one they've got now, but I think this is a great jersey in the NFL. Then we've got the Colour Rush for the Saints, which was actually what the Northern Longhorns jerseys were taken from. We stole that idea.
I never knew that. I could sort of see. I could see
Paul's idea. Yeah.
Nice, actually.
Then we've got the Green Bay Packers, just green and yellow, famous sort of home jersey. Yeah, and then I was split between the Falcons black one and the Raiders. I just went with the Falcons just because I sort of like the red trim around the numbers. But I think those are the best jerseys in the NFL.
Well, even
though some of them are no longer in the NFL.
Well, that powder blue is still insanely nice.
Yeah.
Because last year they made, I think it was after popular demand for years that they finally made that the home kit for last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I said popular demand as if like they had loads of fans, but
all 10 of them said we want that.
All 10 of them said we want it. We want it or we'll leave. And then this Rams jersey is really nice.
I do think them two were sort of the top 2. Like, I'd have them top 2 and then a gap to the sort of next ones. It's just a shame we couldn't win a Super Bowl.
So to side note about that Super Bowl, because loads of people badmouth that Super Bowl, but even though I'm a Dolphins fan and the Patriots won, I loved watching that Super Bowl. It was a very coaching-heavy defense game, and it was two masterminds of their own games that were shutting each other down.
It was very much a chess match, but for most people that equate good viewing.
I mean, I know it's not what sort of sells tickets, and it's not what's going to bring in more fans, but I mean, if you like your coaches and you like to see like people adjust mid game and how something plays out, then I think it was a great Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not going to agree with you just because we got fat L.
I remember walking out of the Q8 that night, and the amount of people were just that was crap. That was crap. There was people gone well before that. I think we went before the Patriots even scored. Some people.
Yeah, I watched it with Jack and Chris in my front room, and both of them were asleep midway through, I think, the third quarter.
If only was it Brandon Cooks could catch.
Yeah.
Right.
So different.
Let's go. This Saints kit is, I think, widely loved around the NFL.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of hate for it.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's a good jersey.
Like that bold black around the gold numbers.
Yeah.
Cleans everything up.
It is probably, well, I mean, obviously, because it's the only colour rush jersey I've got, but it's probably my favourite colour rush jersey out of the lot. I mean, there were some absolutely horrendous ones, but the Saints definitely got a good one. Yeah, the Jags, I think, was up there with one of the worst. A horrible mustard. The
Jags, I think when it was on TV, this exact jersey that I'm wearing looked absolutely disgusting that night.
Yeah. Well, the Rams one was yellow, and our first colour rush game was against the Bucks, who wore all red, and it was like mustard and ketchup. It was this Thursday night game. I remember people bagging it about that. I mean, the Rams wasn't too bad, but wasn't great.
Yeah. And then I think Green Bay, and
it's just well known.
It's clean cut, classic.
Yeah, it's just so famous, isn't it?
It's just the
obviously being English, we obviously don't grow up around NFL and NFL football. Like it's just Madden and stuff, and I remember seeing Green Bay kit and sort of in those days with Brett Favre when I was a little bit younger, and then obviously Aaron Rodgers, and just thinking they were the best. I mean, just so like you said, they're just what they are. There's nothing too fancy on it. It's just the badge on the helmet, yellow helmet, green jersey, trim on the arms, yellow pants.
Clean,
clean, classic. You do think when you see it, you think like you instantly go Lombardi and Favre, and just it's all every time you see the green and yellow, you just think like great players or great coaches, and I think that's all you can want from a uniform, really. But it's lasted so long as well.
Yeah, like they never. I can't imagine they change the jerseys all that often. I mean, but that's what happens. You get these teams that have great jerseys and they don't alter them. I know obviously the Chargers have, but that's obviously to do with LA and what have you. But the teams with the best jerseys don't very often change them. I mean, I know the Patriots have, but I feel like they had those jerseys for such a long time.
Yeah.
Most of sort of Tom Brady's time, though, they had obviously outside of a couple of tweaks.
Yeah, they'd had those that same jersey for 20 years, I think it was.
Yeah.
Since like Brady's first Super Bowl, he was wearing that kit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of them. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
And then we go on to Atlanta, and it's, I mean, especially now, it's by far Atlanta's best.
Yeah. I mean, they have still kept it, haven't they, to a certain degree. I don't think they've changed it. Again, whenever I sort of see it on like Sundays, you see that game the few weeks a year that they wear it, and I always just think it's a really nice kit. I love the logo on the helmet as well.
Yeah, it's quite eye-catching.
It's the
Yeah.
retro sort of one.
It looks old-fashioned. It is
Yeah.
the retro.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. Let's go on to mine then. We've got the same first one
Yeah.
because I don't think I definitely couldn't argue with it. It is by far the nicest.
With James looking sweet in it as well.
Oh yeah. And then I've gone different for the second one.
Ooh.
And it's sort of a forgotten kit that gets chucked around, and it is the Navy Broncos kit. So I think my meaning behind this one is when I got into. So I was on and off with NFL for quite a few years. When I first got into it, I was never properly into it, and when I first took it seriously, it was around the time of Peyton to the Broncos and that 2013 the 2013 Super Bowl run, the 55 touchdowns and just
they were a great team that year, the Broncos.
Yeah, and I think it's clean, and the orange very nicely counteracts the darkness. And then third, I've got our the Miami Dolphins white throwback.
I'm a fan of this one.
Yeah, it is nice.
Now, I like the aqua throwback, but if you think Dolphins history, they were white a lot in Miami to make other teams wear dark colours and use the heat as an advantage. And this it's clean, it's very nice. I think something that I'd like to see us go to permanently, but we can only see. And then another sort of forgotten kit is the San Francisco black and red jersey.
Yeah.
Is it the colour rush?
It was. I know that it was about. I think they'd worn it like the year before Colour Rush as well.
Right.
But I know they used it. Colour Rush sort of just. I think they removed slight parts of it. And
right. Yeah.
Made it a bit cleaner.
Two colours.
Yeah.
It's just a helmet for me.
Yeah,
I like it,
jersey.
but the helmet just doesn't fit with it, I don't think.
Yeah, that'd be my only thing with it. I like it, but it's just the helmet. It's just
the gold doesn't go with the black and red.
Helmet on the top.
Yeah, doesn't work.
And I suppose to jump on the trend of having a Rams kit in most of them, I've got the yellow Rams kit.
Yeah, this was the mustard and the ketchup one.
But I think when you see it, how can you not go back to that Thursday night football game, against the Chiefs?
Yeah.
And that just before the game started, I remember I said to myself, "Do I stay up for this?" Because it was, I think I was in work the next day.
Yeah.
My God, I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I remember sitting up at like 5 in the morning. Well, maybe not 5, maybe like 4 in the morning, just thinking like full of adrenaline. I don't even think you had to be. You didn't even have like. Everyone enjoyed that game. It's probably one of the greatest games I've ever watched in the NFL. Not just because we won, it was just unbelievable.
To say the chaos that sort of surrounded the game, with it supposedly it was supposed to play in Mexico, and then like less than a week before it got cancelled in Mexico. So LA said, "Yeah, we'll take the game," and they had to prep the stadium, and
crazy. Yeah.
To have that good of a game, it was.
And it weren't even just offense versus offense. There was so many big defensive plays.
Exactly.
There was the Donald strip sack. There was the interception. I forget his name, but he stripped off on like the 5-yard line and just ran it in. There was so many crazy plays, and then obviously Goff and Mahomes just slinging it around. I actually had a bet on that game, which was both quarterbacks to throw 500 yards, and I think Goff let it down by like 20. It was a crazy bet. Like it was one of those you just chuck a couple of quid on.
One of those sort of 100 to 1, 200 to 1s. Like, go on, it's worth a quid.
I'm sure he was like 20 yards off it.
You've got a bone to pick with Jared Goff then.
Yeah. Tell them how it is.
Right, and then so let's move on to the worst kits, which I feel like this is going to be the most fun.
You got to expect my top one.
We've got Luke's picks. Go on, Luke.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I've gone with the Cleveland. I mentioned it a few times. I hated the Cleveland across the top, and like you mentioned, Ben, they don't wear the orange a lot anymore, or they stopped wearing it just because of how bad it was. I'm glad you got Johnny Manziel in on the pictures as well. I'm happy you did that.
I think is there a kit that like doesn't perfectly symbolise Johnny Manziel?
Yeah,
a bad kit for a bad quarterback. That's
it's even got the sort of trim around the number which they have on the Falcons that I don't like as well. Yeah, and then we've got the worst colour rush jersey.
That's a mustard
horrible. They've obviously gone to try and make a nice gold colour, and it's just failed miserably. Yeah, it's not a great one. And then obviously the retro Steelers one, which I really don't like.
Uniform.
I don't even know what they're wearing. It hurts my eyes every time they wear it. I think they wear it like once a year. Same again for the Packers. I'm usually a fan of retro kits, but I can't deal with them both. I just think
it looks so cheap. That's it. It looks cheap.
Well, they probably were way back when. It was like how they made jerseys and they just put them together, and they've obviously just kept the tradition. And then the Lions, I just didn't like. There's nothing I like about it. I don't like the sort of numbers, the lettering. And yeah, it's probably a bit of a shock for a bottom 5 jersey, but I'm not a fan. I don't like it. I think it doesn't remind me of the sort of ones they had with Megatron and all the rest of
it. I agree with you for quite a lot of it. The Lions one, it's not a kit that I hate, but I suppose it's just one that I think it's just okay. It's in there.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's not good as bad. It's just in the middle. It's a jersey. Nothing special about it.
They have a grey kit, which can be quite nice. The Lions.
Yeah, I like the grey one.
And when they do throwback and they like strip everything off it. There's no stripes, no lion on the side, and it's minimalist and it's quite clean. I think then.
Yeah. We can all agree on the first two definitely. Probably the first three definitely.
Yeah, the Bumblebee one's just doesn't make sense.
There is a reason that I have to very slightly defend that it is a bad kit, that Packers kit.
Oh.
But I have to slightly defend it for the sense of that is the improvement and a massive improvement to what they used to wear as a throwback.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that one.
I haven't seen that yet.
But you're going to when mine comes up in a second.
Oh God, I'll say them.
But quickly, the Jags, because a few teams have tried doing gold kits and gold stuff like pants, and I feel like the only team that's nailed it is the 49ers, because they use like metallic pants and it looks a lot better. But yeah,
the Jags didn't work
in there. Let's go to the next one. Right.
I can agree with your second one. I can agree.
So, fairly, right. Moving the yellow from that god-awful circle.
Whose kit is it?
It's the Packers. That first
one.
Oh,
God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that helmet is horrible.
There's too many colours on it. Why the brown? Why the yellow circle in the middle?
It's
the
yellow circle, the brown helmets. None of it works together.
It's like 3 different uniforms in one. It doesn't work.
It has like they've stolen like the brown.
Lost and found.
They've stolen like some Bucks pants. They've stolen the Patriots jersey and then slapped a yellow number on it.
Yeah, and I honestly I remember they changed the helmet to yellow, but kept the rest of the kit for a few years. When the one helmet rule came in.
Oh yeah.
And it still looked awful. I do have to say that putting the yellow as the shoulders and the number as a whole is a huge improvement on it. But I don't like it anyway.
But they're still bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
then,
definitely.
Glitter on a piece of shit. Still a piece of shit.
Then we have to go to one of the most bizarre kits. I know that it's another throwback, but a kit that was buried for a reason and should have stayed buried for a reason.
Agreed.
Yeah,
It's
The
something else
yellow
beside
and blue Philadelphia Eagles kit.
I actually had an argument last week with a die-hard fan about this kit, and it just doesn't, nothing to do with Eagles. It doesn't look like, I just don't like it. It's horrible.
No, it's a bad kit. It is a bad one.
I think we all have number 3. I'm not gonna lie.
And I mean, that should probably promote it to the worst kit in the NFL.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That should be honourable mention that it is the
honourable mention.
One.
That wins.
Do they still wear it? I feel like they do, though. I feel like they wore it.
Every now and then they'll still break it out. Let's go to a forgotten gem, which was for the Ravens. I think the 20th anniversary that they wore gold pants with the purple.
Yeah.
And for the same reason that it doesn't work for the Jaguars kit, I think it looks worse with the purple top.
I think it actually does.
It doesn't fit. I think they've tried to link it to the outlining of the number, but it's hard to see, so it doesn't work.
I mean, I don't mind the Ravens jerseys. I've never been a fan of the numbers. I like the purple, but those pants, that's outrageous. Awful.
It's one of the, I don't know, because I don't get how someone got paid to say we should wear gold pants.
I think every NFL team just needs to remove gold from the colour schemes when looking for a new kit, because it just doesn't work. Unless you're talking about a little trim or here and there, like the Saints, the Rams.
Yeah.
If you're talking about a full jersey or a full pair of pants,
just solid colour. No.
Get him out the building is what you should say.
Yeah.
And then a jersey that I mentioned earlier, the creamsicle jersey for the Buccaneers.
I don't mind it, if I'm honest.
It's, again, I think it was like Luke with the Lions. It was something that I thought of just thrown in, but I also wouldn't mind seeing it make a return in the NFL.
It's not great, but it's not terrible.
It's not the worst.
It's not something that I'd have to burn if I saw it.
I feel like sometimes I look at it and think it's nice, and then I look away and look back, and it looks awful. My eyes can't decide. I just can't figure out if it's good or bad.
It catches you off guard.
Yeah. And then when you keep saying cream, what do you call the colour?
It's a creamsicle, apparently, is the common term for the jersey.
That's quite creepy as well.
Oh, God.
But yeah, that's my top 5 worst. And we'll go to Jack, and we'll let you talk through it.
You can expect the first one. So, first one, Cowboys. There's no explanation. I'm an Eagles fan. I don't like Cowboys. Simple as it is. The second one, the Bumblebee. Now, we've all had that, so it must be the worst out of them all. It doesn't look like a jersey. It's more something you'd see in football, or soccer, as you say. Don't think it works at all. Oh, but the Bengals, now, a lot of people actually like the Bengals one, but to me, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It just doesn't work for me at all. Like, I don't see anything good about it.
Yeah, the Bengals one, it is weird, to be fair.
I think it's the helmet as well. It doesn't look right. Like with
I do quite like the helmet, but the jersey's just odd in it with the shoulders and
it's pretty weird. It's just a weird one.
The only Bengals jersey that I like is the black.
Oh yeah.
The black with like the very slight orange on it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just weird how much they sort of like take on the Bengals / Tiger look. Like most team or a lot of teams have an animal related to their team, but they don't. Like the Dolphins don't have like fins on the stuff. I know the Rams have got a horse, the Eagles have got it, but it's just like how they've got it on their arms and stuff.
It doesn't. It's such weird. Yeah. And next, the Chargers. Now, a lot of people argue with me on this one, but I think it's the white, like with the yellow. For some reason that doesn't just work. It just doesn't work for me. Like I like plain, but this looks a bit too plain for me. I can't really think of much else to say about it. And the Cardinals. Well, okay, at the start, I actually did like this. But looking at it more, the helmet looks dead like cheap and dirty.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Cardinals.
I mean, I actually don't fully hate it. I don't fully hate it, but I wouldn't put it as something I'd like. But it's not the worst, so I give them a bit of a so-so on it.
So I'll start at the back end, and I feel like the Cardinals uniforms, I think they look like college uniforms.
Yeah.
Which in some cases can sort of be a bit of a compliment, but they just don't look professional. They look quickly made, and they didn't really care and put any effort in.
Yeah, they're not great. I'm not a big fan of the Cardinals.
They look rushed, to be honest. Not much detail.
And then I do, in a sense, have to argue with you on this Chargers one.
Yeah, I do like the Chargers one as well.
Because
controversial for me.
I think the colours have always worked, and I think, can we add a bonus point to that? Because that photo of in Qualcomm Stadium, in the old stadium, that is a fantastic picture that I found.
It is a good photo. I will give them that.
So let's knock that down on Jax. Let's change his list. Let's knock that to 5 with a photo alone.
Yeah.
Bengals, like you were saying, they really wanted to look like a tiger. For whatever reason.
It doesn't look like a tiger.
When you're a grown adult, you don't need to or should ever look like a tiger.
Maybe for a kid it'll be good. Don't get me wrong. Kids league, yeah. NFL.
The helmet, like I said, the helmet's not too bad.
Yeah.
I sort of like I said, the Rams and the Eagles. They've got not the logo on the helmet. They've got something different, so I do like that. But
I feel that worked with the Eagles and the Rams, but for the Bengals, I just couldn't see it.
It's just a bit random, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the Cowboys one. I feel like a lot of people like that jersey and that kit. I'm not as big on it, but
I just don't like the Cowboys as an overall.
I've got to be honest.
It is probably the nicest jersey, I think.
Yeah. I like the dark blue.
Yeah.
I think as much as they are like this extremely annoying fan base and this team that everyone hates.
We them boys.
Yeah.
Oh, don't.
I think
so
they do have a kit that is very iconic.
Well known. Yeah.
And another team that when you sort of see the helmet and the star, you think of great players. You don't think of anyone bad.
Yeah.
Unless you're thinking of Dak Prescott, then.
Did you see he turned down the money that he got offered? Oh my God. What's he expecting? Honestly, he's not worth.
Right.
He's going to go 8-8, 9-8 at most. No, 7. It'll work.
Get back to it. So that's sort of uniforms covered. I want to cover one thing. Is that the NFL voted on a rule change recently. They denied it in the end, but it was the giving the option to, instead of having an onside kick, changing to having a 4th and 15 play from your own 20-yard line.
Yeah.
If you get the ball, you keep. If you get the 15, you keep the ball. If you don't, then you've lost the game. Yeah.
I kind of like it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sort of a bit torn. Part of me thinks it's a good way because they've changed the onside kick so much that it's pretty much impossible to recover them now, and obviously irritating to watch a sort of team making a comeback, can't get the ball back, and then a team trots out and just kneels. But I mean, that's just part of the game. I do think they should think of something, but
it'd be fun to watch in the Pro Bowl. I think something like an
Yeah.
odd change in the Pro Bowl, but I couldn't see it. I wouldn't like it.
No, I don't.
Real
I mean, what an advantage for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
Well,
Honestly, I feel like they just should never kick off. They should just go onside kick every time because the team are going to score that quick because they're at the 20 and the Chiefs' defense sucks. That he'll get the ball back anyway, and if they don't score or they get the 15, I feel like for them sort of teams with players like that, it's really worth it. But
so if the rule was introduced, it wouldn't eliminate onside kicks. You could still try an onside
So
kick.
you have the option.
Yeah, you could still try it if you wanted to.
Okay.
But it sort of, the rule was sort of made in, you can tell it was made for ratings. You know,
Yeah, something
that
new.
clutch moment, you've got to think, if you go back to the 2014 NFC Championship, and it's instead of the Seahawks trying the onside kick and the Packers hands team messing it up, and then the Seahawks recovering, you know, it's Russell Wilson going against a Packers defense, 4th and 15, game on the line. You know, it's something that would draw you in, I think, more than...
yeah.
Because if you see an onside kick now, you write it off before they've touched it.
Yeah, you don't expect that.
It's not often. I know, obviously, the Falcons and the South Korean kicker had a couple late in the season, but it's
Unreal.
People talked about it like they were both great kicks. One of them was just pure luck because of the way he can't make that ball bounce on that line when that player's there. It's just he's hitting it instead of being from Wigan in a sort of rubber kicking sort of way, so that the ball is bouncing and then it obviously pops up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit torn. Part of me sort of likes it because, like you said, then it makes it a little bit more. You're getting the best players on the field, so you're putting your Russell Wilson on the field, you're putting your best defensive players on the field to play for an important down in the game.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
more tense.
For some teams, maybe they've got a slight advantage, but in that case, they've got an advantage throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just gonna end it there, I think, for this week.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming, talking uniforms, guys.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see what ideas we can come up to for talking about next week and get back to it. So I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. See you guys. Cheers.
Cheers.